You might consume the content that I put out and others put out and assume that I'm just causing problems. Well, I would submit that the entirety of my work is offering the solution, actually. And the reason for that is simple. You've listened to mainstream media ever since Walter Cronkite, some of you, and you've trusted them. But should you have? If it comes to pass that trusting them was trusting something that was not to be trusted, and I come bearing the bad news that that is so, my solution to you is to point it out. My solution to you is actually inviting you, on the one hand, to make the necessary change of observance that it is possible that the mainstream media, being the big six, being the big five, was lying to you. And on the other, I'm trying to invite you by becoming myself the spirit of that breaking away from the mainstream media and producing my own content. I'm inviting you to produce your own content. You can't do that if you're not educated on the subject. And using the word ignorant, that some people will construe that as disrespectful, but it's actually the correct verbiage. If you are ignorant on the subject, I can't offer you the solution until you're educated. If you're ignorant on the subject, I cannot offer you the solution until you're educated. So square one is actually educating you. And while it feels dark, all I'm actually doing is pointing the truth to you. The truth that you've been lied to. Until you make that realization, internalize it, and actualize it, step one is telling you the truth. Step two is you, yes, you, internalizing that truth, which is going to be very painful for you. And step three, I'm trying to build templates for you, I'm not the only one, where you can become somebody else who gets the message not only, but also broadcasts it. You are the fifth estate. You ever heard of the fourth estate? The fourth estate is the mainstream media. There's the second estate and third estate as well, but the fourth estate is the mainstream media, and when they've been lying to you. Next comes the fifth estate. That's the alternative media, and the sixth estate, that's all of you. The fifth estate and the sixth estate is necessary to ensure the survival of freedom. Without the fifth estate and without the sixth estate, we lean too heavily upon the fourth estate, and that has not worked for us. For those of you who have been trusting the mainstream media ever since Walter Cronkite, that has not worked for us. So, while it might seem it's all gloom and doom, while it might seem that this is for entertainment purposes, it's not. It's not purpose. It's not for purpose, of gloom and doom. It's not for purpose of entertainment. It is for purpose of coming up with the truth for you as best I can, which of course I'm very fallible, and inviting you to test my truths not against the mainstream media, which I'm preaching to you, if you will, that they have been lying to you. Rather, my truth is that step one being, if they have been lying to you, to turn it off. Step two, take what fits and discard the rest from my words. Step three, internalize. And step four, you have to participate. You don't participate by marching down the street. Although that has its applications, that's not what I'm doing here. The pen is mightier than the sword. I'm inviting you after much deliberation, because if you just start running in the street with the mob, they call that mob rule, there's a very good chance, if you're not fully educated on the subject, you're going to be running full in the wrong direction. And if you're running fully in that wrong direction, eventually, or immediately actually, your purpose of trying to fix the problem is in fact contributing to the problem. So the first step is to educate yourself. And I couldn't possibly do it all in one talk or even a week worth of talks. It would take quite a long time to absorb all the information. And that's why I offer up as free to download, and I'm not the only one, zchg.org/HOTT, which is the full of Bill Cooper's works, which are in the public domain. And for those who are ready for it, there's also zchg.org/WATT, zchg.org/hot, HOTT, zchg.org/watt, WATT. And so I encourage you to start with, my work will be more current events, although a lot of my work is centered around censorship. So those are both archive works. Those gentlemen have both passed away. And so their work is more of a testament to the truth of it, because if it survives the test of time, and although at the time they were not received by the mainstream, when you listen to it and you come to find that what they were saying decades ago is coming true now, or is true now, that's a proof. And so what I say now is not going to be necessarily well received, because it hasn't passed the test of time, simply because that's not possible yet. I lean heavily upon standing upon the shoulders of what others have done in their work. If I was standalone, if I didn't have my sources, I wouldn't be able to make the claim that the mainstream media has been lying to you. However, if I have those sources and it comes to pass that you catch the mainstream media with their pants down, why do you keep trusting them? And further, why do you take somebody who is offering you the alternative and assume that I'm just engaging in the conspiratorial, which I've mentioned prior? It's a bad word because it was weaponized by the CIA in the 60s, and that's factual. You use that appeal to the stone fallacy to dismiss, rather than engage yourself in coming up with the truth. Because it's easy. If it was easy, it's probably not the truth. So, it may seem like I'm a gloomer and doomer. It may seem like I'm only offering you problems. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't educate yourself, if you do not take the time, the many, many hours that it takes to deprogram from the mainstream media, you're going to assume the one who's telling you the truth is lying to you, and you're going to assume the one that's lying to you is telling you the truth, and that's just the way it is. You're going to watch your football games, you're going to listen to your music, you're going to listen to the primetime news or the comedy, whatever, what have you, and you're going to fail to engage with the content that's being delivered to you. Rather, you're going to be in the beta wave state, the dream state. You're going to be absorbing that information as it were in entertainment while you're half asleep. And of course, you want to engage those alpha waves of your brain in order to engage with the material. Because if you're not, then you're just being led the Pied Piper. So anybody who's lying to you, the first thing you want to look for is, are they popular? If they're popular, even if they're alternative media, quote unquote, they might just be the authorized alternative narrative. Somebody who's censored or suppressed, they're not going to be popular by the numbers. That's simply not possible, because that's the very nature of censorship. So you run along with that bandwagon fallacy, you run along even with that appeal to tradition fallacy, and you assume that those entities are correct because everybody else does. And of course, you're looking for information in all the wrong places. The very best information is going to have very few followers. And so it becomes your duty, yes, your duty, to look for sources that produce quality content, and don't have many followers. Because I can assure you, and check me on this, if you get somebody with 5,000 or more followers in these modern times in the public square, which is captured, and their content is believed to be true, and you're throwing out the little guy who's producing the quality content. And I'm not saying I produce quality content. You can hear my children fighting and screaming in the background sometimes. While we are both at work, we have to, ourselves work from home, and we rely upon each other in order in between tasks to watch the kids. And so if you can imagine, it's not going to be possible if you are in the alternative to produce quality content. It's not a source of revenue. I'm not selling you anything. And that's another thing that you can look for. If somebody's selling you something, versus somebody who's not selling you anything, and somebody persists in not selling you something, and doing their best to produce content, that might be a clue that that person actually cares about you. On the inverse, if somebody is selling you something, and I'm not demonizing selling you something because we all have to make a living, but if somebody is selling you something and they're the alternative media and they have more than 5,000 followers, they might not care about you. And so I can tell you all I want, that I care about you and I want you to do well, and I want you to learn from me what I know, and I want you to engage with yourself and figure out what I'm wrong about on your own, engage in those alpha waves. There's going to be very few clues that you have if you just judge the book by its cover. Because the most honest content is going to be the most censors. There's no money in it. That person literally has to give you their time for free and put up with ridicule for free. And so you're leaning upon the entertainment aspect in order to be informed. And that's, for lack of a better term, that's ignorance. And I say that with the highest respect because we all come from a place of ignorance in our nut and acorn approach to the world. We all came from the womb fully ignorant, although I would argue, it's sort of a segue, but I would argue that when you're born, you know things about the world that you sort of forget. Seeing that in the eyes of my children, I think that's true. But you are completely ignorant of the evil of the world when you're born. And if you continue to remain absorbed in going to the bar, or just focusing on dating, which is a perfectly natural thing, and it's fine to do, it's natural, or watching football, which is basically giving somebody else the purpose of it's giving somebody else permission to be the athlete. You're basically provisioning somebody else or a team of people to go through the rounds of putting in the work in order to compete, rather than doing it yourself. So you're basically reliving your glory days when your body was able to perform that way, rather than growing from that time period of your life, rather than participating yourself in sport, which I think everybody should have for the whole of their life, a sport that they can engage in, which keeps them healthy, keeps them fit, keeps their mind sharp. Because as soon as you're drinking that beer, sitting down on the couch watching that football game go by, used to be only on Sundays and Thursdays sometimes. Now it's every day of the week almost, if not every day of the week. You're being entertained, you're not being informed. And you're also looking down on people who are informed. And that's ignorance. And I say that with the highest respect, because as soon as you take the time that's required, the energy that's required to switch from the beta wave to the alpha wave of your brain, to no longer be entertained, but to produce even your own content, and produce quality content that diverges from the mainstream, which we can, with enough time put in, we can assume is incorrect. That's when you're actually growing. When you're being spoon-fed the information, you're not growing. You're not growing. And I don't care to be the one who makes you pretend that you are. Because there's plenty of people who will hold your hand and tell you that it's okay to leave the Disney ears on. It's not okay to leave the Disney ears on. Because when you do that, you're living the fantasy. You need to rip those Disney ears right off. World's a dark place. A lot of evil occurs in it. And if you're just a consumer to that, you are a participant in that evil. And that's enumerated in the Bible. People who just let the evil happen are participating in the evil. There are no lukewarms in this. You are either a participant in your own destruction and the destruction of the others around you, or you're working to help yourself and others. And being in between, that lukewarm is also participating in that evil. So, in conclusion, as before, I'm not offering just the problem. I'm also offering the solution by living the solution, by showing you that you are, in fact, the fifth and sixth estate if you choose to be. Everyone should be the sixth estate. The sixth estate is where you are engaging with others, creating, even if it's just a conversation, one-on-one, you are creating content for others that they can use to overcome the programming of the mainstream media. And that is pivotal to overcoming censorship, because people like me who are fully censored, I'm not going to be able to reach much anybody with the truth. The truth itself will not reach much anybody. It doesn't matter the person giving it, without your participation. The fifth estate, anybody can do, and it offers you up extra protections. The fifth estate is starting your own alternative media company. And by doing that, you can, although you are protected by the First Amendment, by doing that, you can create more protections for yourself. Because the media is sacred in our country, as it should be. The right to express yourself. The right to express yourself being amplified by the media. You have certain extra protections that you don't have if you're just sounding out on a post on your wall or what have you. So my living it is offering up for you to live it. My educating is offering up for you to educate yourself and to educate others. My offering the problem is packaged with the solution. You receive the solution by me showing you the problem, by overcoming censorship, and by offering you templates for yourself to overcome censorship when it comes to pass that you decide it's time to stop sitting on the couch watching the football game and to do something about the problems in your community. Because this is local and global. It's every community has these problems. Every community in my country, the United States of America, has these problems. And those people sitting on the couch are going to keep on sitting on the couch until the cows come home, until such time as they choose to do something else with their digesting, and not just digesting, but acting upon, the pen being mightier than the sword, acting upon the knowledge that they obtain, not from the mainstream, but from the censored class of the media. Because the censored class, and again, are the only ones who care about you enough to do it for free. And the mainstream is in it for the money. Fact check me on that. Take care, and may God bless each and every one of you. Take care. God bless.